I know I'm not the only one that gets overwhelmed by calendar management, so these are a couple things that I do to decrease the overwhelm because let's be real, calendar management is a huge part of an executive assistant role. Obviously, you need to make sure that you have the right protocols and permissions so that you can see people's calendars. Like if you're managing multiple calendars, you need to make sure that you have the right permissions for each person so you can see their calendar. And if you're sending invites on their behalf, you need to make sure you have that correct permission as well. Second thing I always do is I color code all of my meetings, and it's to make it easier visually. So when you look at the calendar, it's not just a ton of meetings. It's you see what the color is, and you know what the meeting is for, or at least what type of meeting it is. So let's say for one-on-one update invites, if you have those a specific color and you're trying to find like a 2-hour block, well, it's gonna save you a lot of time if all of your update emails are a certain color. So you can look at the calendar and say, oh, well, this whole day it's full of update meetings. We can easily put this meeting here. It's just saving you time. We're trying to be more efficient. Depending who you're managing, how many people you're managing, it might be helpful to have regular check-ins about their calendar, any new meetings that are coming up, anything that they need prepared for those meetings. And like if there's anything that you need to do for the meetings, it's helpful to ask the owner. I always make sure to troubleshoot any conflicts. I'm always looking at the calendar. So I'm always looking when there's conflicts coming up, and I move those conflicts as soon as I can. Even if it's 6 months out and I see that there's a conflict with a couple meetings, I'll move that just to save myself time because I know I'm gonna have to do it eventually. So why not do it right now so I can make sure that I have an easier time trying to move the meetings. I can make sure that I get a conference room, all of the things that go with it. It just saves me a lot of time in the long run. If there's any big changes on the calendar, that is something you want to communicate with your executive or whoever's calendar you are managing. You want to make sure that you communicate with them. So if something happens like week of or even day of, like if a last minute meeting comes up, I like to either message my boss or email him and just say, hey, this last minute meeting came through. Here's the context for it. Just wanted to make sure that you know. Sometimes they might have conversations behind the scenes that they already know that the meeting's coming, but just in case, I like being proactive about it and emailing my executive or messaging him and letting him know that it's coming up and what I know about the meeting. If you want to hear me break down calendar management even more, make sure you head to my store, save your seat for April 24th because it is the start of my free 3-day course that's all about the foundations of being an executive assistant.